Good morning, Vietnam, and welcome back to the Ritz podcast.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Do you believe how long it's been
It's
since
been
our last
3
recording?
weeks, William.
3
I mean,
weeks. That's
forever.
forever.
Yeah. I wonder if our listeners miss us yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I know that I did not miss you. Like,
Didn't
I
miss
wish
me?
that it had been longer. Like, 3 weeks was too short.
Weeks? Do you not like me?
Hey, look, I don't care how you feel. Like, is it really, like, do you need to be liked that much?
Do I need to be liked? No, I don't need to be liked. Do I like to be liked? Sure. Yeah, I like to be liked.
Are you
Do I want to be liked? Yeah, of course.
Are you taking...
Do I have to be liked? Yeah, of course. But it's not some incessant need.
Oh. Are you taking that from somewhere?
What? No, that's totally
That
original.
feels... I feel like I've heard that before somewhere.
Oh.
I don't remember where. Where
Okay.
I know
all
you.
right,
I know you
time to
took
come-
that from somewhere.
Time to come clean. All right, that was from the greatest TV show ever created, The Office. It's a famous Michael talking head. That quote there.
Oh, that does
Yeah.
ring a bell now. Yeah, you know,
Probably one of the funniest ones from him.
probably. I think that you're right though. The Office is definitely one of the greatest TV shows of all time.
Oh, for sure.
I like Psych though. I gotta say.
What do you mean, like Psych?
Psych is maybe a good competitor to The Office.
Okay, wait. We're talking about The Office, and then you just bring Psych out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, because we have to start an interesting debate here. I'm not just going to be an Office fanboy.
Wait, okay. So you're saying Psych is better than The Office?
Not necessarily. I just think it offers a good kind of, you know.
Sorry. A quick disclaimer, I am coming off a sickness, so I still have some lingering symptoms. So if you hear me coughing at all, the mic shouldn't pick it up, but if you hear me coughing, that's why.
The mic will pick it up.
Anyway.
I promise the mic will pick it up, unfortunately.
Moving on. Why are you comparing Psych to The Office? That's
Well, you know, they're both TV shows, and we were coming
the
into this,
one
we were talking about what we thought the best TV shows were.
Yeah. Well,
And I guess it really...
Okay. Psych is a fantastic show. Definitely one of the top 5 TV shows ever made. But like...
Well, I guess it
it's
depends.
not something you can compare to The Office, because they're
I
both
guess, yeah.
they're two fundamentally different.
It does
like,
depend, yeah. The Office is definitely less exciting than Psych.
Well, here's the thing. They're both comedies, yes, and they're both TV shows, but the similarities end there.
True.
Like, from there, they both like are drastically different shows. Like Psych is a sort of parody detective show. Like,
Yeah.
I'd call it a parody detective show because it's not really your traditional one. Sure, you get like all your traditional tropes of like, you know, the detectives interviewing the guy who's constantly loading stuff onto the dock.
Yeah.
And, you know, the busy businessman who's like, I don't have time for this. And the cops are like, oh, can we just have a second of your time? We need to talk about, you know, the secretary that was found dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all that stuff. But, like, I think Psych is very self-aware about that it's, you know, about the tropes in detective TV shows and sort of pokes fun at them.
Yeah.
And
the Office is very aware of corporate culture, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, Michael Scott is a total bumbling idiot, but he's hilarious, and
He
everybody,
is.
like, we love him as viewers, even though no one in the show loves him.
Yeah,
you know?
that's one thing I love about The Office is how realistic it is because, you know, like, I've seen some people
Well,
on
it's
the
completely unrealistic, but in a realistic way, if you think about it,
yeah.
right?
Well, it's a mockumentary, so it's attempting to be realistic.
Yeah.
Which I love the idea of the whole mockumentary setting.
Oh,
like, I think that's such an interesting and unique way to do a TV show.
Right.
And, you know, they're trying to like parody, like, you know, Office.
Yeah.
You know, Office life, generic Office life, because like they picked the most like boring generic thing to be like the company. It's a paper company. They sell paper.
Yeah, and then they
like,
turn it into the most hilarious
they
TV
do.
show ever.
But like one thing I do notice is that despite Michael being an idiot, he's good at what he does. He's a good salesman at least.
I mean, that's fair enough,
Because like
I
you
guess.
see in which episode?
Well,
was
the thing about Michael is people like to work because they think that if they work hard enough, he won't come and bother them. You ever notice that?
It's a good point.
Yeah. And they got Dwight, like the total, you know.
The
I can't
suck
decide if Dwight is an anarchist or like a total government control freak, you know? Because he's an anarchist when he's trying to get up in power, but he's definitely a control freak when he's actually in power.
He's like he's not an anarchist, he's a rebel. He wants the power. That's
true,
the thing.
yeah.
He wants to usurp the throne.
Yeah.
and crown himself king.
There's something about Jim that just makes me think that he's a total jerk.
That's a hot take.
I got to be honest. I know it's a very hot take, but Jim doesn't seem as genuine as the rest of them. It's maybe it's because the rest of them are idiots. I don't know. Like idiots, idiots are being real because no one in their right mind would want to portray themselves as an idiot. But with Jim, it's just like, okay, Jim, well, you're just like, you're too good to be true,
No, what do you mean by that?
Well, like he's good looking, okay, right?
Okay.
And then he has just this picturesque office romance after a while, right? It takes a while to get there.
He has to work for it.
It takes a while to get there, I admit. But you almost never see office romances working out, right? And it did in Jim's case mainly because Pam is a complete suck-up for him.
Wow, okay.
You ever notice that? Like, she hasn't gotten married to her boyfriend, and then she doesn't know if she really wants to. Not because Jim actually did the work in making an advance on her. Of course, she's engaged, so he's not going to do that, right?
Well, he did at the end
Pam
of
has
two.
Yeah, but Pam has no actual reason to date Jim. Like, she herself admits that they're just
she likes a
friends.
Sense of humor. She likes a sense of humor, and they have good chemistry. That's why she likes him.
But there's no admission that Jim really likes her back for a long time. And what I'm saying is, until that happens, she should have just gone along and gotten married.
Whoa, I'm so confused. What are you talking about?
Okay, so Pam is a complete suck-up to Jim, right?
Okay, wait.
But she has no reason to be. She thinks she loves another man, otherwise she wouldn't be engaged to him. Okay?
Okay, so...
But she's still sucking up to Jim, even though he hasn't given any substantive...
They make it very clear early on that she's not really happy with her current situation with Roy.
Right, and we know that, but she doesn't. She thinks that she's going to get married to him.
She thinks she wants to get married to Roy, but she doesn't really, in her heart of hearts, want to.
Yeah, but if she thinks she wants to, then why would she wait for Jim?
Well, early on, you can tell very quickly that she's not a confrontational person. She's very, wishy-washy.
Not always.
I think
not always.
In the earlier seasons,
most of the time she is.
Yes, she was. Whenever
she comes out of her shell later.
Exactly. Well, that was part of her character arc. That's part of what made The Office so great. She had a great character arc where she realized that she needs to start speaking up to get what she wants, which she does.
Right.
And in the later seasons, you see that pay off because, she straights up, gaslights. I don't know if you got this far, but she gaslights this guy, Gabe, into giving her a job she wanted.
I don't remember
which was pretty hilarious. Yeah. It was in... how many seasons did you say you got into The Office?
I don't know. A couple of them.
A couple that can mean anywhere from 3 to 7.
Somewhere around 7, probably. I don't remember, honestly.
Okay.
But
anyway,
I mean, I still have hot takes on Jim, of course.
Very hot takes.
Now,
wait,
who is your favorite Office character, though? I gotta ask.
Ooh, that's tough.
Because you look like a Dwight.
I did dress up as Dwight for Halloween.
You look like a Dwight, okay? Your personality is probably more, You're pretty chill, but you're not quite a Jim, right? You're not quite a Jim.
Not quite a Jim.
So you're probably like Daryl, the name.
Daryl. All right, I'll take a Daryl.
You can be provoked, but you're mostly pretty chill unless you meet a Michael Scott.
You think you're that Michael Scott?
Yes.
I don't think you're Michael Scott. I think you're Ryan.
I have a lot of friends who would call me Michael Scott.
I think you're more Ryan. At least in later seasons, Ryan.
I kind of like the idea of being Ryan because he's really cute.
As Michael likes to stress every day at the office.
Yeah.
The hottest in the office, Dundee, goes to Ryan Howard.
Yeah, you should try a Michael impression. Do a Michael impression.
I can't do a Michael impression.
Yes, you can.
It would be awful. All right, what's a good Michael saying?
I don't know. You better come up with one. Do an impression of someone at least in the office.
In the office? Oh, I can do Dwight probably.
Okay,
I need a good Dwight. I need a good Dwight line though.
Pretend that you're about to light the whole office on fire to make people realize that they should have listened to you.
Okay, wait. What did he say when in that talking head? Last week I hosted a safety meeting about fire safety. Nobody listened, of course. was my own fault. I was using PowerPoint. Nobody likes PowerPoint. It's boring. So today I decided I'm going to run a little simulation. Today, smoking is going to save lives.
All right, that was good. You have his manner of speaking down, but you need to speak a little lower. You know,
A little lower?
a little lower, like a little more grumbly.
More grumbly.
More grumbly.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do a good Dwight impression.
Well, you know
Nobody
what?
can.
You did
can
pretty. You
try.
did pretty okay. You did
should-
pretty okay.
You should do a Ryan impression.
Ryan Hearn. I don't remember anything he says, so I
don't
can't
remember.
do
When
that.
was the last time you watched The Office?
I don't know.
Fake fan. Fake
I'm
Office
not a
fan.
fake fan. I
You're a
like
fake
it.
fan.
Okay. Look, I am such a big fan that I am waiting for them to make a video game out of it. Okay,
Ooh.
The Office video game.
Dang. How would that
No,
play?
that would be a total piece of art, wouldn't it? Like you
That
would really have to
that
work
would
pretty
be-
hard to make it interesting
That would be
because it takes
an
place in an
artistic
office.
masterpiece, just like The Office itself.
Right, exactly.
And video games, as we all know, is a fantastic art form. At least you should know that.
If you don't, you're dumb.
It's an incredible art form. And, I think people are realizing that more today. I think video games have become more
video games
mainstream.
have finally become like good enough where they actually do seem kind of artful. You know?
Yeah. Well,
Back in the 80s, it's just a bunch of dots on a screen.
like even then, it was still pretty artistic because like the amount of work and like creativity you had to put into it.
True.
Like,
True.
just think about this for a second. Like, imagine living in that time when video games like just started to like become a thing.
Right.
Like started, like the idea came out for it. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like before that, like digital like art, so to speak, was like TV, like filmmaking.
Sure. Yeah.
Which was just shooting, recording a bunch of people like doing like acting in stories.
Yeah.
Which but like to think like how can we make an interactive like an interactive program, and they did it. Like I've heard a lot of people say Pong was the first video game. I don't know if that's true.
I think it was.
I mean, I know it was one of the first.
It was the first published one that was available to the public.
Yeah, but like, sure, like by today's standards, that's like
that's elementary.
That's elementary.
I know people who could code that and more in a half hour.
Yeah, same. But like back then, that was revolutionary because like being able to actively participate in like something you're seeing on a screen is incredible, and to see how far it's come is amazing.
Well, have you ever just
And like,
have you ever just gotten mad at like some of the old Wii games, like Wii Sports or Mario Kart, and you just see all these amazing little, like when you're driving on a course in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
You look around you and you see all these cool places that look like they're fun to explore, and you just can't because you have to stay on the track.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, come on, this is such like Toad Factory, man. That course is so fun.
That's so cool.
And Moo Moo Meadows. I always loved Moo Moo Meadows.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you can call me a Mario Kart nerd. That's the only video game I'm kind of a nerd on, other than Breath of the Wild and Wii Sports.
Everything about Mario Kart.
Yes, although I have a lot of friends who would say that they could still beat me.
Actually.
And I also have a lot of friends who are liars, and those are the same people who tell me they could beat me at
I know
Mario Kart.
one friend who could beat you at Mario Kart, and that's Ben Lubner.
Oh,
Shout
yeah?
out to Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Now, I don't remember which Mario Kart game. It was Mario Kart Wii, I believe. It was the one on the Wii
That
where
one's
he's at like
good.
the top of the online leaderboards.
Oh,
like,
really?
No joke. Because like they shut it down a while, but I think he's at the top.
Really?
At least from what I remember. Ben will probably like
Is that
correct
even
me
still
in the comments.
supported, like the
It's-
worldwide stuff?
It's not supported anymore, but like the leaderboards are still there, and I'm
Oh,
pretty
okay.
sure he's at the top.
Huh.
I think I remember him showing me.
Well, if I
Ben,
could-
if
if
you're,
I could
I know
beat
you're
him-
listening, Ben. So correct
Man,
me in the comments and
If I could
explain
if I
about
could
that.
beat him at Mario Kart, I would.
Has to be the specific Mario Kart.
Yeah. But in any case, what are some like modern video games that are true masterpieces
okay.
in your opinion?
Here's the thing. I think in more recent years, video games have also been used as a medium to tell stories,
Sure.
like in their own way.
Sure. Yeah.
So like one of my
Interactive stories.
interactive stories, but not only that, like non-linear stories.
Yeah.
'Cause, like here's the thing. This is a story that I learned about recently. So one of my favorite video games of all time is a little known indie game called Amori.
Never heard of it.
I know JP has
Oh,
played
of
it
course,
and he
JP's
loves it.
played it. Yeah, of course JP's played it.
What do
Shout
you
out
mean,
to
of
JP.
course?
We love
Shout out
JP.
to JP. Yeah. I won't go too much into the game itself, but it's a fantastic game, and if you like playing video games, you should play it. It's fantastic. And JP said something to me. We were talking about it last night, and he said, I don't really like calling Amori a game because what it really is a story, like
Right.
an interactive story.
So what sets it apart from other video games
Well,
that, just aren't quite as good? What sets a great part of video game apart
well,
from a good
I would say
video game?
specifically about Amori is the way it tells its story.
Okay.
Like it tells a story that you could not be able to convey like with a movie, graphic novel, or a book, or like a comic book. Like
Right.
the story it tells could only be told through the medium of video games.
Yeah.
And like something I looked into like the background of how Amori was created, and it started out as the main character of the game is called Amori. So
Well,
the namesake.
that would make sense.
And it started out as like a little web comic that the creator liked to draw when she was in college.
Okay.
Like as a way to like, as a creative outlet, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then eventually she like fleshed out her web comic enough to where she had enough to tell a story with it. And she was like, all right, I want to make a graphic novel out of this. And, she got like, I think like halfway through the graphic novel and she didn't like how it was going because it was too linear. And
Okay.
when you're telling a story through like a graphic novel or a book, it's very linear because you can only tell
Yeah.
like, the events as they happen. There's no like room for like the consumer to explore the world.
Right.
They can only see what you're putting down on that specific page.
Yes.
So she was thinking, all right, I need a way to turn this story into something that's non-linear, something that the consumer of this story can explore, something that they can experience for themselves. And she realized the only way she could do that is if she made it into a video game. And that's what even though she had no game making experience, she was so passionate about this idea that she found a bunch of friends and downloaded something called RPG Maker, which is basically a client you can download to make game making not easy, but more streamlined. So like you don't have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
Like at the base code. So, and she did it. It took her, I think she started in 2014 or 2012, and it took her like 6 years to make it.
Oh, wow.
It came out like, I was going to say
That is
recently, but it
dedication.
came out in like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
3
well,
or
the
4
thing
years
is,
ago.
3 years ago does feel like recently because there was just a
It
bunch of
does.
COVID stuff. Like,
Yeah, all the pandemic made everything go by so
I
quickly.
know.
But anyway, eventually she did do it. She created a video game that tells a story in a non-linear way, and it's fantastic because I'm not going to spoil anything about it because I think you should experience it for yourself. Like, if you're interested, if you're, anyone listening at home, if you're interested, if you're a gamer at all, and you're interested in what I'm talking about like
Right.
a video game, a story in the context of a video game, you should check out Amori. It's a fantastic game. I think it's on all platforms, and it's like $20. So
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah.
it's not bad.
No.
And it's like a 20-hour long game, so you get good use out of it.
I gotta ask, what is your opinion on mobile games? The kind that you
Mobile
download
games?
to your phone? Because I don't think those are pieces of art.
They're modern ones are pretty cheaply made, but like
Yeah.
I played a lot of mobile games growing up.
What'd you play?
'Cause, I was, a little lonely kid who didn't have any friends. Who I got a cheap little like off-brand iPad that I used to download free mobile games. And there's
Okay.
some pretty good ones.
Yeah.
At least the ones from when I was a kid.
What was your
like
favorite?
Angry Birds Epic.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you
you're one
played
of
that
those
one.
people. Yeah.
I very much am one of those people.
In case you couldn't tell, I am not a mobile game person. There's just nothing more boring to me than sitting around and tapping,
Yeah.
tap.
I
I guess once in a while if someone makes an actually good mobile game, but there are just so many other things I could do with my day that are more interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah,
I could go work up to buy a Switch or a PS5 or whatever and then play
I
some
know.
real games.
I don't play mobile games nowadays at all. Like I played a couple like if I'm just that bored and I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But, I've seen a lot of ads for them, and they seem pretty freaking weird.
Oh man, the ads are all like, have you seen the memes where it's like, you can't beat your wife, and then the guy's like, of course I can. I have over 5,000 HP.
No, it's like I have 10 million power. Rise of Kingdoms.
Yeah, and it's like, okay,
Those
bro,
are the weirdest ads.
shut up,
like,
man.
Okay, I low key want to be an actor in one of those ads. Like I want to be the guy who's like, yeah, sure I can, rob that bank. I got 10 million power on Rise of Kingdoms because I picked freaking Ottoman Empire, and they have freaking 2 times build speed, which made me be able to like rack up my power or something.
Right.
I don't know.
It's like, okay, yeah. I also feel like
I've never tried the game, but
also
I don't
feel-
know how in depth it is.
Yeah. I also feel like mobile games have a little bit more like possibility for the maker to tamper with them,
Yeah.
Just because once you buy a game, and it depends on the game, obviously there are games that you can play on consoles that have updates, but once you buy a game on your mobile phone, it's like, I don't know what they're going to update this with.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to affect the game. And it's just like, if you buy a free one, that's fine. Nothing ventured, nothing lost. And then if you actually buy one, you're putting your money into something. Like, you don't know what they're going to update the game. You don't know if the updates are going to be good.
Gotcha.
And, I'm just not a mobile game person. It's just not who
me
I am.
neither anymore. But as a kid I was, and there's some pretty good ones.
Yeah,
pretty enjoyable ones.
What has always fascinated me is how the games have the ability to change the music, change the scenery, change, just like the detail that has to be into them. Not even for the designers, but like just the computers that run these things.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
It's a long way. I use my laptop. I'm a Mac person. Okay, I don't play games on my laptop. It's not cringe. Look, all my Mac people comment on this video telling me how amazing Macs are.
Yeah, go comfort him.
If I hear one person saying that PCs are better, I am deleting that comment. Just kidding. I won't do that.
He doesn't have access to a YouTube account. Don't worry, guys.
Yes, I do.
I think he actually does. I might have to fix that. I'll
Don't worry. I'm not in the business of deleting comments unless you like curse or whatever. But
what you censoring their curse words?
Of course I am.
What's wrong with that?
There are children who listen to this podcast.
Well, are they gonna read the comments though?
You
gotta censor people's free speech.
Well, maybe.
Maybe
not. But
what
not for saying
mean?
not for saying that Max is bad. Look, I'm not a gamer person, okay? There's a long cry from being able to type, stuff into Google or on Word or checking your email on, your laptop, and then actually playing games where the music changes depending on where you are, and all the sound effects that have to happen, and how everything has to come together. It's just amazing to me how these big manufacturers build these consoles, and then developers build games to fit those consoles. I do think there is some talent there. I don't necessarily think there's a whole lot of talent in just playing video games. Like, there are billions of people in the world who can play video games. You're nothing special if you're good at a video game.
Being good at a video game, that takes some skill.
I don't know. Sometimes it does. There are some video games that are very hard. I'll give you that. But at the same time, it's like there are some people who I know who are very good at video games, and that's not because they're talented at literally anything. They just sit on their PS5 all day,
Wow. Who are you calling out there?
No one in particular.
All right.
John.
Oh,
just kidding. I don't know a John. I mean, I do, but I don't think he listens to the podcast. That was just the name that I pulled out of my head. I'm not calling out anyone. I'm just saying, sometimes culture likes to think that talent is you're good at something just because you waste time on it. So,
I think talent is like more natural ability, and then skill is something you develop.
Yeah, but sometimes the two get messed up.
Yeah,
the two get a little convoluted.
Anyway,
in
any case, Tears of the Kingdom. The best game of all time.
Shout out to Anna. She's been bugging everyone about Tears of the Kingdom since it came out.
Oh, boy.
Anna, you better be listening to this.
If any game is like a good example of an artistic masterpiece, I gotta say Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Because it accomplishes everything a good video game should.
I have not actually played it, but I've seen lots of videos of people playing it. I've seen people play it, and it's just, it's more of a good thing in my mind. It's more of a good thing.
They took everything they did with Breath of the Wild and did it better. They added more stuff, and the story is much more fleshed out. Like, if you want to talk about, like, another good game with, like, that has a great story, that's, like, a great medium for storytelling. Tears of the Kingdom, fantastic story,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah.
That makes me wonder. What do you think what company makes the best video games?
Oh, what company?
Yeah. Because I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I'll admit it. I like Nintendo.
You've only played Nintendo games ever.
Not true.
What non-Nintendo game have you played?
Minecraft, obviously.
Minecraft. Okay. Well, everybody's played Minecraft.
I've played
that doesn't
a number
count.
of games on people's consoles.
Okay. Like what?
I don't remember what they're
You don't
called.
remember? All right. That's what I thought. Anyway,
Shut up.
I think in
I'm
recent
just
years,
proud that I don't waste as much time on video games as most people.
Fair enough.
And hey, I have played Fortnite. Okay.
So have I.
Oh.
Like I don't care.
Okay.
Stigma around Fortnite is kind of
I don't
lame.
know. I don't know what's up with
Like,
Fortnite.
Fortnite it's not a bad game. It's a fun game. I like playing it with my friends. That's pretty much it.
But like, okay, you're just doing the same thing. You know, go shoot more people. Win the
Yeah, that's
win the
fun.
fight.
I can't
is
do
fun,
that in
but
real
it's
life,
just
so I have
like-
to do it in video games.
Oh. Do you want to do it in real life?
Now, hey, wait. Now, wait a second.
Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Now, wait a second here, guys. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Okay, moving on.
I do not know what that was about.
To answer your question, good sir. The one before you asked that one. I don't know. I'd probably have to say Nintendo, I guess.
Oh, Nintendo fanboy nerd! You've
No,
never played
shut-
other video games.
shut your mouth.
You've never played
I'm
any
j-
other
I'm-
video games other than Nintendo.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's just I haven't played a whole lot of recent like Xbox games. I've never played a PlayStation game in my life.
Excuses. Nintendo nerd, guys. Nintendo is
nerd.
Will is a Nintendo nerd.
What's wrong with that? I am a Nintendo
There is
nerd.
nothing wrong with that.
can
There is
tell-
nothing wrong with
I
that.
can tell you quite a bit of Nintendo trivia.
What's your favorite Nintendo game other than the Breath of the Wild series?
Other than other than Tears of the Kingdom.
Sure.
Ooh, that's a good question.
And Breath of the Wild, because I know you like that one too.
That's a fantastic game. Both great games.
I know.
10 out of 10.
Amen.
Ooh, okay. Favorite Nintendo game besides Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom?
Think.
Smash Bros.
Okay.
Of course.
Fair enough.
Duh.
Fair enough.
I forgot about that.
That one's fun. That one's very competitive.
It's a lot of fun.
Good to beat
Speaking
your
of
friends.
Smash Bros.
Good to beat your friends if you can't beat them in real
every
life.
Friday night, my friends host Smash League where we play Smash Bros for like 3 hours, and y'all should come.
3 hours,
Like
man?
contact me if you're interested in playing Smash Bros with a bunch of other people who play Smash Bros.
Yikes.
So
Got better things to do.
little
Thanks.
shameless plug there. Like what? What are you doing on a Friday night? Do you have a girlfriend you're hanging out with?
No.
Then
Well,
what
actually,
else do you
yes, actually.
Oh, you have a girlfriend?
She's right there, William.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
in
I
studio
didn't
with
I
us.
didn't see her when
She's
I came
always in studio with us. I beat the crap out of her, but she takes it well.
That's gonna sound weird out of context.
If you can't tell, it's my drum set.
He's
idiots.
talking about his drum set, guys.
I do have a habit of
who's
playing
the
drums in the
real
evening just
loser
because,
here?
you know.
Who's the real loser? Like the guy who's alone in his basement playing his drum set on a Friday night, or the guy who's hanging out with his friends
You
playing
will
Smash
eat,
Bros.
you will
Friday
eat
night?
your words when I make millions of dollars a year as a touring drummer,
Alright,
and you're
bet.
playing Smash Bros in your
Bet.
bachelor pad with your poor little friends.
Bet. I want to
Peasant.
see it. I want to see it. I want to see you
Peasant.
make money from drums. Do it.
You know,
Do it right now.
I would not right now, bro.
Do it right now. Go join a band. Go on tour.
No, not yet.
Not yet. All
Not
right.
yet. Not yet. I don't have anything against you if you play video games, by the way. I'm just saying they're not my jam. I would rather
I mean,
actually jam
obviously,
on my
obviously,
instrument.
if you play video games all day, like nonstop,
You're a
there's something
loser.
wrong with you.
Yeah.
But like that goes for like most things. Like if you stay on your drums all day and do nothing else but hit your drums,
Yep.
you're a loser.
Fair enough.
You do nothing but read books all day and nothing else, you're
Whoa.
a loser.
Hey, now there are going to be some people who listen to this
I don't care.
who do actually do that.
Just because. Okay.
There are
Like,
people I
no,
know
No offense
who
to
read
you
their
guys.
books all the time.
No offense to you guys listening who read books, but you know, the people in the books are not real people.
Will is saying not to
and
read.
you should go
Will is saying
meet
you should
real
read.
people.
Are you saying
only-
that people who read their Bibles all day are losers?
No, but I don't think it's very Christian to just stay inside and seclude yourself from the rest of the world, like thinking you're being.
You're not a fan of the monk stuff.
Yeah, I don't think being a hermit, like spending nothing
Really,
but
yeah.
like, what are you gonna do with all that knowledge of the Bible if you're not gonna like go out and share it with people?
That is true.
Like, that's the primary purpose.
You're not supposed to hoard it.
That's the primary purpose of being a Christian, is to go spread the good news with people. So you're not supposed to hoard
Right.
it. It's like, it's not bad to read your Bible, but like, if you read your Bible and then do not like spread the knowledge you learn from the Bible to people who need it, then you're not exactly being a good Christian, I'd say.
That is true. I mean, hey, I was just making a point there. I was making a
just-
funny haha
I gotcha.
joke.
You gotta make
Okay.
the funny. You gotta make people laugh.
Yes, we do. We do.
We gotta make people laugh here.
Yes, it's our goal.
That is our goal.
We love making
Anyway.
people laugh. Anyway, that'll
Anyway,
do it for our
that'll do
first segment, everyone. We'll be back in a minute. We got some heavier topics to discuss on the second segment, but you're going to like it because we're going to end it on a very good note today on the W Ritz podcast.
Oh yeah.
Today on segment 2 of the W Ritz podcast, we're going to be talking about some heavier topics, some topics that require a little bit
Relatively
more
heavy.
philosophical stuff.
Philosophical.
And you might be wondering why we didn't do this in the first segment, because normally the first segment is the more political one, and this one is the goofier one. Well, we decided to leave it up to a random wheel spinner that I found on Google, so we put, goofy first or serious first, and it came up with goofy
I don't know.
first.
Even for a quote-unquote goofy segment,
That wasn't very goofy at all.
wasn't very goofy.
We had some good discussion.
Some good discussion.
I
there.
think we're going to keep that roll going.
Yeah.
But, what are we celebrating this month, William? What month is it?
It's June.
That's correct. And what does America celebrate in June?
What does America celebrate in June?
Not what do we celebrate in
holiday
June.
Oh, Juneteenth, obviously.
Oh, duh, yeah, that one.
Juneteenth, we celebrate that.
I mean, I guess that one's harmless enough.
I mean,
But the real question I have is, what is America celebrating in Pride Month this year, right?
Pride Month.
And there might be a simple
Pride
answer. I'm
Month.
sure there's a simple answer. You could just say we're celebrating sin, and that would.
I mean, that's not wrong.
That wouldn't be wrong. That wouldn't be wrong. But I actually looked this up. So I wanted to know what the history of Pride Month was, the origins of Pride Month. And it turns out it originally started as a riot, and from there they started parading, and it was originally for gay liberation, right? You know, we want the CIA to stop trying to, get us out of here just because we're gay.
Mhm.
We want to be able to marry each other. We don't want to be killed for, what we do. Okay. I mean, sure. Okay. That's understandable, right?
Like-
If you, I don't agree that gay people are, morally fine. But at the same
it's a
time,
sin,
it's
but
like you don't want to get killed for what you do. Even if you do something,
like,
like
even
kill
still,
someone.
I don't want to kill gay people. I want to save them.
Right, of course.
I want them
Of
to
course.
realize the error of their ways and come to Jesus.
Yeah.
But
But at the end of the day, it used to be about gay people, and
mhm.
it still is about gay people to an extent. But here's the thing, right? So the Supreme Court ruled in favor of same-sex marriage in 2015.
Yeah.
Even I remember that,
Yeah,
and I was
I
pretty young at
remember
the
that.
time.
I was 10 years old at the time.
Yeah, I would have been like 8 then, I guess.
8,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Because you're 2 years younger
7,
than me. Yeah.
somewhere in there. I'm not exactly sure, but. And then recently, the Respect for Marriage Act was passed, and that codifies same-sex marriage. That was
Mhm.
passed in 2022. So gay and same-sex marriages, they don't face any challenges anymore, right?
None.
So what is the point of celebrating Pride? What is the point? Is it really just a celebration at this point? Like, there's no point to it anymore? Because here's the thing. Apparently, we're not celebrating kids being indoctrinated about homosexuality in public schools, because that apparently isn't happening. That's what they want us to believe, right? They want to tell us that your children are perfectly safe at public schools.
Mm-mm.
We're not celebrating the takeover of biological men and women's sports, okay? Apparently, that's what they're telling us. Because, at the end of the day, we're not celebrating any of that. We're not celebrating the oppression of normal people under the guise of trans rights. So what are we celebrating, right? Like, there's so much that we might think we're celebrating, but apparently we're not celebrating that. They want us to believe that we're celebrating something different than what we actually are. So what are we really celebrating? That's the question I want to get to the bottom of. Now, this is important to note because a lot of Americans and even a lot of churches get caught up in celebrating rainbows and happy drag queen parades, street parties, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what America is actually celebrating and giving a whole month to is not love, diversity, inclusion, or even equality. We're celebrating our own downfall at the end of the day.
Oh, really?
We're celebrating our own turning away from God. We're celebrating open rebellion against religion, tradition, and morality.
Mm-hmm.
We're celebrating sodomy, perversion, child
Preach.
harm, pedophilia, a lost sense of reality, and at the end of the day, evil. And you notice that you never see a pride flag with just 2 stripes on it, okay?
Nope.
So you never see a pride flag that only supports gay rights. You never see a pride flag that only supports, non-binary rights.
Well, don't they have like the specific flags or specific things?
They
now?
have
'Cause,
gays
like,
against groomers and all that, not
Well,
all.
no, I mean like, don't they have like a pride flag for each type of?
Yeah, but
like-
they're all on the same flag.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, bro.
But at the end of the day, the thing about gay people particularly that are against certain parts of the pride movement is that, like the trans, they're against the trans movement,
Mm-hmm.
is that it's only good until those gay people are no longer here, right? At the end of the day, they've celebrated the same types of things that all of these
Mhm.
other, people celebrate. They still celebrate the same perverted acts the rest of the pride movement does, just to a much less extreme and often more private extent.
Yep.
And the thing is that's so scary about all this, as we question what America is actually celebrating, is that they've disguised it so well, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've disguised it so well that even churches are getting caught up in celebrating Pride Month. Not all churches, not faithful churches.
Yeah.
But
I was
churches
about
in
to say.
America get so caught up in loving their neighbor that they love them straight to the gates of hell.
Uh-huh.
And I just want to say that truly loving your neighbor doesn't lead to the gates of hell. It'll lead to the gates of heaven, right?
Yeah, well, it's the term love. Like, what does it mean to love your neighbor?
Yes.
Like, it's not to, like, encourage them no matter what they do. Like, it says in the
It's not
Bible,
about
I don't
affirming.
know the exact verse, but it says, he who spares the rod hates his child, and that's talking about disciplining your child. Like, it's not loving to just never discipline your child. Like, even though your child is not going to want to be disciplined, they're not going to, like, enjoy it, but you still have to, like, it's saying that ultimately, once you discipline your child when they do something wrong, that's good for them because it's teaching them that it's wrong and it's giving them good character. So it's saying that if you don't discipline your child, you basically hate them. Like, even though you think you're being loving by not bringing any emotional harm to them, you actually hate them because you don't want what's best for them. And it's the same situation, I would say, with how Christians should treat, sinners. Like, love our enemies, how we treat our enemies. Like, we're not supposed to, like, be totally wishy-washy when they're, like glorifying sin. We're not supposed to be like, you go, man. Yeah, good for you, bro. Like, we're supposed to condemn that type of behavior, but, like, we're not supposed to, like, attack the person. Like, obviously, we're not supposed to go out and kill anybody who's, like, participating in sin. We're supposed to steer them away from that, show them that what they're doing is wrong, and bring them to Christ. And that's, like, the loving thing to do.
Right.
Because, like, Jesus himself, he hung around, prostitutes and tax collectors, like, evil people of the day.
Sure.
But he didn't hang around with them to, like, glorify the way they were living. Like, he wasn't thinking, like, oh, they're cool people, I want to spend time with them. No.
Right.
He interacted with them. He showed them that their way of living was wrong and brought them to a lighter path.
Right.
Like, in a loving way.
And
we're supposed to be like Jesus in that we don't avoid them like the Pharisees of the time did, because, like, they would, like, avoid people like that, like the plague. We're not supposed to avoid people like that, but we're also not supposed to, like, encourage that. There's a medium you have to find.
certainly. And part of the way that you start to love people is by recognizing what's actually going on, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I started off this segment by asking, what is America actually celebrating this month? Because it's not about what they say it's about, right? You think about it, like, how many people tell you that pride is all about, being happy in who you are and overcoming
showing it
societal
off.
hurdles and all
Yep.
that. And that's not what Pride is actually about. It's just a masquerade. It's a face mask that Pride, the Pride movement
So
and
tell
Pride
us,
Month
Isaac,
puts
what
on.
what is it actually about? I'm curious.
What is it actually about, William? I would say that it is about celebrating falling away. At the end of the
Interesting.
day, you have people who would not celebrate falling away from God, right? You have your neighbors who might not be Christians, but they're nice people, right?
Uh-huh.
And when you say, "Do you believe in God?" they would probably say yes. And when you
Maybe,
say,
yeah.
I'm just talking generally here. I know a lot of people who are like this.
Yeah, who like believe in a god but
Yes.
not necessarily
Yeah.
the right god.
Your neighbors might have very good ideas of what is moral and what is not. They might be against stealing. They might be against looting.
Yep.
They might not like rioting. And at the end of the day, they wouldn't celebrate falling away from Christianity in the same way that the Pride movement would, right?
Mm-hmm.
They would, at the end of the day, they're still celebrating sin if they're not in Jesus Christ. But they're not going to go out and wear all kinds of weird outfits and tell everyone about how happy they are, right? But the Pride movement is just taking that attitude a step further. It's really exposing to light what is and has been in men's hearts for centuries and has manifested itself in different ways every generation. And now it's just, a new iteration of what we've already seen since the dawn of time, of falling away from God. And this is just a very, very, a very, very obvious celebration of it. And that's
Yeah.
what Pride is. And the fact that
I mean,
churches are
it's-
celebrating that
It's
when they claim to believe in
it's
God
called, it's
is
called
just
Pride.
sad.
It's called Pride Month. It's called a Pride Parade.
Yeah.
Pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. and
Right.
It's like a sin that's, talked about all the time in the Bible.
Have you seen
So-
the internet meme where it's like the lady is holding up one cat and praising it, and the cat has it Pride labeled on it, and then there's another cat that's glaring up at the lady like, "I want some of that," and it's labeled the other 6 deadly sins.
Yeah.
Like, it's so true, man. Sometimes I feel like memes are the best way to share truth.
They are. Yeah.
They're just awesome, man.
I'm just-
I gotta say,
one more thing to say about Pride Month. I think as a way to fight back against it, we should turn Pride Month into Bride Month. Go out there
Let's
and
go.
get yourself a wife.
well, I gotta say,
All you single people out there, go out there, find a woman, and marry her.
I gotta say, Will, it's interesting to me how the transgender people decided to hijack the month where the most straight people get married
Exactly. Yeah.
for
June,
their own use.
June
Like,
used to be the month of marriage because
There are so many marriages in
because
June.
I don't know if you guys know this, but June is named after the Roman goddess of marriage, Juno,
Right.
which is why it's typically the month people get married.
And it's just fascinating how they managed to steal that for their own wicked use, right?
Yeah, why?
Like,
did
it's
they
not
pick,
the only
Why'd they pick June?
Like, I
out of
get it.
any other
June,
month.
June is a nice month, okay? But it's not the only nice summer month. It's not the only month you can go out parading in.
Yeah, why didn't you pick August?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with August?
I don't
What
know.
did August ever
what
do
you
to
got
you?
against August?
What's wrong with August? What about like, I understand not October because that's sort of spooky month. You can't
Yeah.
really take that over.
Well, even though you're spooky.
What about February? No, not February. Don't take February.
That's
for me.
Valentine's Day month.
That would kind of make sense, I guess. I
Hey,
don't
love
care.
is love, bro.
No,
I
please stop.
don't know that they planned it that way, but I do feel like it's just interesting.
Wait, I want to know
how
who
stuff like
decided.
that happens.
Wait, did you ever look into the history of like how like Pride Month was decided to be?
Yeah,
a thing?
yeah. So the way it happened was the riots originally started later in June.
Oh, okay.
So that's just
So I guess it is a coincidence.
it's just. I mean, I guess it's a coincidence, but it's a fascinating coincidence.
It is a fascinating.
I'll leave it at that,
coincidence,
man. But to celebrate Pride Month, William, California is really going off the
Yeah.
rails.
Oh boy.
Like this is just crazy, man. You see, like most of America doesn't actually like Pride that much. Like the people who refuse to buy, they're boycotting Target, they're boycotting Bud Light. We've talked about that a
Yeah.
lot. Most of America
A little
doesn't
too much,
really
to be honest.
care. But California, like they really are taking it up a notch. California
Yeah.
is turning into Canada here. So I came across this article the other day, It says, a recently amended California bill would add affirming the sexual transition of a child to the state's standard for parental responsibility and child welfare, making any parent who doesn't affirm transgenderism for their child guilty of abuse under California state law.
Wow.
Now, of course, if you know anything about the people who wrote it, one of them is Scott Wiener. He's, he's a total, he is just the definition of a leftist fighting for all the things of Satan. I believe it was him who passed some kind of bill to lower the penalties for pedophiles. I could be wrong.
What?
But I'm fairly certain it was him.
Yeah, please.
In certain cases. But it would make sense. He's trying to get this one passed too, so it makes sense that he would try and make pedophiles a little more, have a little less punishment.
Yeah.
Anyway, originally the bill required courts to consider whether a child's parents were gender affirming in custody cases. Wiener's amendment completely rewrites California's standard of child care. Okay? AB 957, that's the bill, post-amendment, quote, would include a parent's affirmation of the child's gender identity as part of the health, safety, and welfare of the child, altering the definition and application of the entire California Family Code. California courts would be given complete authority under Section 3011 of California's Family Code to remove a child from his or her parent's home if the parents disapprove of LGBTQ plus ideology. Now, I want you to notice something really quick. It would, quote, include a parent's affirmation of the child's gender identity. There's that word again, gender identity. And we have to ask, what is this? What is this identity?
That bill is a slippery slope because, where's the line there?
Yeah, is it where your, what is your identity, your gender identity? Is it what body you were born with? Is it what chromosomes you have, or is it just how you feel? Because if it's what body you have and what chromosomes you have, of course, parents should affirm their children's biological sex. It just makes sense. Billy, you're a boy. Sally, you're a girl. And, if I had kids and I told my kids that in the state of California, apparently I might get arrested for it now.
Apparently, that's messed up.
It hasn't. I don't think it has passed yet. I don't think it's passed yet, but knowing California, it probably will.
Oh my gosh.
And later on in the article, it says, incredibly, the bill provides no definition whatsoever of what would qualify as non-affirming to a child's gender. So it doesn't even really tell you what you have to affirm and what you don't.
Like, do you have to encourage them? Like, if you just if you just shrug when they tell you, does that count as? That's messed up.
The part of the reason is because it's so bland, it doesn't actually say anything. Because the more space you give the state, the more space they can take.
The more vague it is, the more power they actually have.
Yeah, exactly.
Because all they need to do is get a good lawyer to fight it in court.
Well, I mean, I don't even understand what the point of this law is, right? Obviously I know why they're doing it, but what's the point, right? Are they really trying to help children by taking them away from their parents? How is that going to help a child?
There are two options here. Either they think they're helping kids, or they're just wrong on so many levels.
Yeah.
Or they just, the more, I guess, slightly more conspiracy theorist, but actually I think it's more likely
conspiracy theories aren't really conspiracy theories anymore.
Is that they just want an excuse to take children away from their parents and have them be raised by the government.
Yeah. Well, we all know that's what's actually going on.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yes. And
it's who in their right mind would actually support this bill is my question.
Right.
Even I can't imagine even liberals supporting this because it's
any liberal who actually cares at all about a child, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this bill is just destructive on a lot of levels. First of all, it takes children away from their parents. You don't know if those parents are actually abusive, right? Because this is redefining the whole idea of abuse. They're going to call them abusive
just because they said, no, Billy, you're not a girl.
Right. And you think about it. I remember when we had Abigail on, she said that she thought that she was a unicorn or something like that for a while. When she was pretending to play when she was 6 years old, and then she said her mom called her for lunch, and she was like, "Oh, okay, I'm done being a unicorn now. I'm gonna go eat like a human." If I had a 5-year-old, and my 5-year-old, and we live in San Francisco, wherever, and my 5-year-old walks up to me and he goes, "Daddy, I'm a girl. Look at me," and he has his sister's tiara on, and I'm like, "No, you're."
Are you just?
and I'm just like, "That's funny, son. That's funny. Nice one." And he's like, no, Daddy, I'm a girl. And I'm like, okay, buddy. All right, come on, calm down. He's like, no, I'm a girl. And then I'm like, no, you're not a girl, okay? It's fine to pretend, but you're not actually a girl. And you can, look, I don't mind if you want to wear your sister's stuff, but you don't go out of the house with it on, right? And he goes, no, Daddy, I am a girl.
Gosh, what the heck?
And he calls CPS on me, and I go to jail in the state of California.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, that's just, how silly are we going to make this law? Is it literally just, some little kid telling his daddy, I'm a girl, Daddy, because he's wearing a princess suit? And his dad says, no, you're not a girl. And the dad goes off to jail. Right? And another interesting thing about this law is that not only does it, take children away from their parents unnecessarily, or it would if it were passed, it also completely dishonors the parents by putting putting reasonable parenting on the same level as child abuse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up what the definition of child abuse is in California, okay? It can qualify as, quote, sexual abuse, the victimization of a child by sexual activities, including, a number of things that wouldn't really surprise anybody if I read them, but I'm not going to because I don't want to. Physical abuse, bodily injury inflicted by other than accidental means on a child, willful cruelty and justifiable punishment, emotional abuse, non-physical mistreatment and disturbed behavior by the child, such as severe withdrawal or hyperactivity. Emotional abuse includes willfully causing any child to suffer, inflicting mental suffering, or endangering a child's emotional well-being. Now, look, those are all reasonable things, right? You don't want parents, abusing their child in those ways. But now we're redefining child abuse as refusing to let the state abuse your child. You ever think about that?
That's a weird.
That's what this bill
that's a good
does.
way of that's a interesting way of putting it.
This bill literally makes reasonable parents who have just been saying what everyone in America has said until the past 10 years. It turns them into child abusers and criminals.
Dang.
And like I said, the most ironic part about this bill is that it actually promotes child abuse, right? It paves the way for a child to hire a doctor to mutilate them. It paves the way for the government to take children away from their parents. And here's the thing about the government, right? This is not some cushy little government, who knows better than you how to take care of your child. I actually believe that the government is turning into the largest institutional child abuse organization in America. Now, I
wouldn't disagree with you, honestly.
I know that might sound like quite a statement, but it's not.
I would not
Especially
disagree
in
with
states
you.
like California.
Yeah.
The thing is, the government does all kinds of illegal things. They just get away with it, right?
Yeah.
And so why wouldn't child abuse be on their agenda?
Good
this
point.
bill is
Yeah,
just wrong on so many levels.
I don't know what to add to that. You got it pretty well covered there.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
And you ever think about it, it's only going to get worse. If these people keep having their way, it's not going to get any better.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff has already happened in Canada. I remember just a year ago it felt like it happened in Canada. I was like, that's Canada. Canada's messed up. That's true. Canada is messed up. But it's happening in California, man. And you know what the second most far out liberal state there is in America is?
No. Please, no.
New York.
No.
It's coming for us, baby.
New York, please.
It's coming for us.
Yeah, I'm leaving New York if that bill is passed here. I'm not dealing with that.
Well, especially have kids. You don't want to raise kids.
I want to have kids, so I'm not gonna risk going to prison, having their father go to jail just because I said no, my daughter, you were not a boy.
It's completely ridiculous. You think about it, as a man, a Christian man, you don't want your son, if he grows up in 15, 16. You don't want him going into females' bathrooms, right?
Of course not.
But it would make it very hard for you to tell him not to do that in a state like California if you can't even tell him what gender he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, parents shouldn't even have to tell their children what gender they are if you think about it. You think about it
should be pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious. You're a boy, man. We could tell before you were even born. It's not hard to tell that you're a boy. Sally, you're a girl. Deal with it. I don't care about your feelings, man. Okay, look, I love you. I'm your parent. I'm here for you. And part of the reason why I'm saying the truth to you is because I love you. And if California doesn't understand that, then California can go become its own socialist republic because they're barely even part of America anymore. They're just a Canada mooching off of America's prosperity, destroying American values, being complete idiots. And honestly, I'm keeping a pretty cheerful tone throughout this podcast because I find it comical.
You find it funny?
In a way. In the same way that God laughs at the wicked. You know, it tells us in Psalm 2 how God laughs at the wicked. This is so dumb. It's just unbelievably stupid. And the thing is, as a Christian, I know that God is still going to be in control of everything. And as disheartening as it is to see these people in California endorsing wickedness, it's just, I'm almost incredulous. It's like, this is where we're at now? Like, I'm going to have to laugh at this. I understand that this is a terrible bill, and I'm absolutely against it. And I am saddened that there are people trying to push this over on the American public, but at the same time, this is stupid, and stupid things don't work. And I can't wait to see this come crashing down on their heads, if not in this world, in the next. I can't wait for wickedness to be taken away forever.
Amen.
And the more wickedness I see, the more confidence I have that one day it's not going to be here. I will say that. Because the more I realize how
it's
wicked
a very hopeful
man
view,
is,
and I admire that, the optimistic view on
the more I
life.
realize how sinful man is, the more I realize how holy God is. And I think that it's good for Christians to remember that, especially when we read articles
especially
like this.
nowadays, yeah.
But you know, William, there's one more thing I want to talk about. I told all you podcast listeners that I was going to end this podcast on a happy note.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That was
pretty depressing.
That was quite
discussion
depressing.
there.
I admit that.
Is there any
I
hope,
actually did enjoy
Isaac,
it.
do you think?
Well, William, let me first start off. I have told some people that I am going to say something that I am proud about today on the podcast.
Pride.
I am, because it is Pride
Sin.
Month,
Oh my gosh.
I am
I
proud
don't know
of the
if I wanna
cross
do
of
this
Christ.
anymore. The what?
I am proud of the cross of Christ.
Me too.
We're supposed to be
honestly.
glorying in our Redeemer. That's what I'm doing.
Good.
All this Pride Month, I'm not proud of my sin. I'm proud of my Savior.
Amen. Me too. That's fantastic.
So we do have something to be
I'm
prideful
I'm
about
proud
this
of you,
Proud
Isaac,
Month.
for thinking that.
Well, thank you. I'll try not to let it get to my head because we have enough proud people this
That's a
June.
good point.
But
Especially in this room.
that's not really what I'm going to leave you with because that sounds a little weird, Just sounds a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that as soon as I start talking about this, I'm going to have about half a dozen people I know pick up their phones. And they're going to text me, and they're going to tell me how true this is, how amazing it is, how right I was, because I actually, I've already heard what they think about it. I'm just reinforcing what they've already said. But anyway, if you're one of those people, you probably know if you are, to be honest. Pick up your phone, okay? Because I watched Jesus Revolution last night. And all of you people who said that it was amazing, you were right. You were very right. I have to be honest, as soon as I watched it, I completely rewrote half of my notes for this podcast.
Really?
I literally just, got into the document. I deleted half of what I had written, and I devoted that space that I was going to use to talk about other things to talking about this movie. And I also put
Interesting.
review
Well,
Jesus Revolution
If it's
at the top
that
of my
good,
podcast
then I gotta
notes.
hear about it.
Will, you just texted me. Oh my word, you watched Jesus Revolution? No way, me too.
You said people were gonna text you.
You didn't watch Jesus Revolution
I did not.
though, so
I was
there.
just trying to be funny, guys.
Will, you should watch it. You should watch it.
I should watch it. From what I've heard from you, it sounds like a fantastic film.
Right. Well, the thing about it is, it was actually a bit of a tearjerker. Now, here's
Really?
the thing. I did not actually cry. I will tell you that much because I don't cry at movies, right?
I don't think you.
I don't have
I don't
it
think
in
you
me.
have the capability of crying.
I don't have it in me to cry at cinematic productions. I just don't, because I know that
I
it's,
do.
I know that it's all, you act it out, right? But still, it did provoke.
I do have the. I would cry at a movie if it touched me.
It provoked
well enough.
a lot of emotion in me, man.
Really?
And the thing about it is, if you've ever watched Christian movies before, because Jesus Revolution is a Christian movie, as you might think.
I would
from the
assume
title.
that from the title, yeah.
Christian movies often suck. Like,
Yeah,
just the way they're made.
that's
like,
the unfortunate
look,
truth
I love
of
the
it.
message. I love what they're trying to
Well,
portray.
like the thing is
but
like
they're doing it in a very bad way.
a lot of times, I think Christians are too focused on making a Christian alternative to modern media that they forget how
Yeah.
to create a good
Well, even if you
piece
make
of
it,
media.
if you make it very Christian, the only people who are going to watch it are Christians, right?
Yeah, well,
You have to make it interesting. You
something
have to make it good,
like
and then people
here's
who
a good
aren't Christians
example.
will watch it.
Prince of Egypt. Like it's an adapted Bible story turned into a movie. But like if you look like on a comment of like any soundtrack like piece from the movie, you'll see like atheists saying, I don't believe in God, but like this movie was awesome. Like I loved it.
Yeah.
I love the message it put out.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like there's a way to make a quote unquote Christian movie that still appeals to a non-Christian audience.
Yeah, and I'm always happy whenever I see one of those, and I think
Yeah.
that Jesus Revolution is one of them.
Oh, really?
I will say.
Because I think that I don't know, the title might turn some
Oh,
people off.
absolutely it will. But the actual movie itself is interesting, and of course, it's more meaningful to me as a Christian. But still, it's just done well.
It's like what's it about? Like,
Well, I don't want to spoil it too much. But it's essentially about Pastor Greg Laurie. Okay, if you know who
Okay.
he is, if you don't, it doesn't matter. Basically, he's just a big mega church pastor who's been converting a lot of people over a lot of years. It was about him in the '60s and how the hippie stuff happened and Jesus Revolution. The Jesus movement back then started to really take a hold and how that all broke out. It was based on the true story, which is part of why it was good because it's not some fictional
yeah.
retelling of some stupid Disney movie or whatever it is. There are some Christian movies that feel like that, but essentially it just chronicles how he became a Christian and
Okay.
how the Jesus movement really started. I will say there were some things in it that I did not like. The pastor of one of the church at Calvary Chapel, one day he was a total stone cold hard-hearted preacher who was just wailing against how evil this generation is, and then
Okay.
and then he meets this hippie, and all of a sudden he's this total hippie himself.
What?
And he never preaches anymore, and he waits for the hippie. He lets the hippie guy preach. Which maybe it actually happened that way. I really don't know, but they could have. The whole movie did go a bit too fast, but there was a lot to cover, so I can't blame them.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It was just that kind of thing. It really did also show some of the problems that the Jesus movement had, which I was wondering if it was going to do.
Oh, like what?
Well, because the main guy eventually kind of became a jerk, and
Mhm.
I'm trying not to say too much here. I apologize if I'm spoiling it for
Yeah,
anyone.
like just if you want to watch the movie, then
Just
you
watch
might,
the movie,
You might
okay?
need to stop listening
It's
to the
way
podcast and
way
come back
better.
later.
No, don't stop listening. I will say it's way better than any description I can give it.
Okay.
Just partly
fair enough.
because it's an actual movie and you want to see it with your own two eyes. Secondly, because I'm not a skilled movie critic. But the message that it gave was more powerful than the actual story, in my opinion. The story was very powerful, but it's the type of message that really can still apply to us today, right?
Mhm.
You see some movies and it's just, like you see a romance movie, okay, that doesn't apply to me. You see a superhero movie, well, I can't shoot spider webs out of my hands, so that doesn't really apply to me. But this movie still has some applications that the Church of Christ can take away. So these hippies, right, they're kind of messed up people, right? Just like
Yeah.
we have today. And they're looking for fulfillment in drugs and sex and alcohol and all that.
Mhm.
And we have a whole bunch of people who are still looking for fulfillment in drugs and alcohol
Sex and
and
alcohol.
sex and sex changes
Some things
and
don't
sex
change.
therapy and all that stuff. They've taken it a step farther, I would say.
But the
They have taken it a step farther.
fundamental there
The
is still
fundamental
there.
need and want is still there, yeah. And it's very easy for the Church of Christ today to forget that these people are to be loved. And that is
Mhm.
one thing that Jesus Revolution really shows quite well, that these are people, right? The hippies were people. And there were hippies who were, who loved Jesus more than some of the members of Calvary Chapel back when it was an anti-hippie hideout.
Yeah.
They looked freaky, right?
Mhm.
They didn't dress normally. A lot of people were put off by them. If half of them walked into a church today, we'd roll our eyes, right? But especially now, it's easy for us to think that the sin and the sinner can't be separated, but what Jesus' revolution really shows us is that we can generalize these people all we want, right? We can say that they're committing bad acts, they're sinning, and they are.
Mm-hmm.
But the Church of Christ is actually called to look past that, right? We're called to love these people.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
recognize that we could be them if it weren't for grace.
Exactly. Because, at the end of the day, how different from them are we? We might not be as lost as them.
We're very
but,
different from them now that we have trusted in Christ.
But if we weren't Christians, how different would we be from them?
I mean, at the end of the day, we'd be living in
maybe we wouldn't do the exact same things, but we'd still be sinning.
Yeah.
We'd still be living without Christ.
At the end of the day, we'd still be going to the same place they are forever.
Exactly. If not, drugs, we'd be going to something else for fulfillment.
Right. And certainly.
If you're going to anything other than Jesus for fulfillment, you're gonna end up unhappy and live a depressing and dark life.
Certainly. It's just it was a really powerful movie, man. It was just, I feel like I'm saying the same thing here.
But you need to stress, it was a powerful movie, and you should watch it.
You should watch it. You should watch it. It was very applicable even today. I know I forget that these are still people. These freaks, they're still people.
Yeah. It gets hard sometimes, but you have to realize that they're still people. They have feelings, and they're still God's creation, no matter how much they may have made themselves look like they're not.
Oh yeah.
And that it's our job as Christians not to look at them in disgust and shun them. We're supposed to, show them that the error of their ways and bring them to Christ, and show them that the only way you can be truly fulfilled and truly happy and truly have joy in your life is Jesus Christ, and it's not whatever you're doing.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Mm-hmm.
We have a tremendous opportunity to do that.
Yep, that's our duty as Christians. God obviously has an individual plan for each one of us, for specific things He has got planned out. But in general, the job of every Christian in the world is to share the love and word of God and the good news of Jesus' death and resurrection.
You know it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, if you haven't watched Jesus Revolution, and you haven't, William,
I'm sorry.
Watch it.
Maybe I'll watch it today. I mean, after the podcast.
Might as well.
I mean, I'm intrigued, so.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's a good movie. I recommend it. Anyway, I think that's all we got for today.
Yeah.
So, hey, we have something big coming up for one of our next podcasts. We don't know which one yet, but we're going to try and have a very special guest on.
Oh, yes.
We're going to try, okay?
Somebody from our church. A very well-educated man.
No promises. But we're trying very hard, and we're going to have a very good conversation with him if he does come on.
Next 2 or 3 podcasts probably
He said he'd like to, and we're just going to try and get it to work out now.
He's an adult, how old is he?
I don't know. Probably, quite a bit older than us.
Yeah, quite a bit. So he's very busy.
Very wise.
But he's very wise, very well educated, and, having him on would be very interesting, and I think a lot of you would be very interested in what he has to say.
So
that's not the only special guest we have.
Oh yeah, we have a couple special guests planned.
Couple ones,
but we just want to tease y'all a little bit. We just want to tease y'all, make y'all
get y'all excited.
Yeah,
so
get you ready.
Make sure you hit that sub button to not miss out on our next podcast, our next upload.
Hey, ring that bell.
Ring that bell to get notified
in your life.
Ring that bell to get notified whenever we upload, and make sure you hit that like button to show your support.
Yeah, and comment. If you made it this far, comment apple cider vinegar in the comments.
Yeah. I want to see a whole train of apple cider vinegar.
That would actually be really cool. Y'all should do that. If you've watched
apple
this podcast up here, do it. Do it.
Helps us get into helps us get in,
helps
the
us
comments
feel like y'all are listening to us.
Yeah, comments help us with the algorithm.
Oh yeah.
So we got to get those views up and those subs up.
That's right. It's our
Help us
only
hit
it's our
100
only goal.
subscribers.
It's our only goal on this podcast to get more subscribers.
Yeah.
We don't care about anything else.
Anybody.
We
just want subscribers.
Yeah, we're just doing the best we can to get
at
more
100 subscribers. I haven't forgot about this. At 100 subscribers or some milestone, we're gonna read the script of the B movie. We're gonna get a bunch of the old guests in here. We're all gonna read it.
Fair enough.
So
I don't even know. Can you download the script of the B movie online?
Dude, I've seen so many memes that are just the script of the B movie. It is so easy to find.
All right, well, we can probably work that out then.
Yeah, we can. So, stay tuned.
Now we just have to fight each other for who can be Barry B. Benson.
no, I don't wanna speak too soon, but
Hey,
like
you
he's literally
should've-
me. He is literally me.
No. Nope. Lies.
Barry B. Benson is literally me, guys.
No.
Literally me. All right. We'll put up a poll.
Yeah.
Poll on
Yeah,
the-
we'll put up a
we'll
poll.
put up a poll in the community tab
If
for who should be Barry B. Benson.
if you are a potential guest and you vote on that poll against me, I am vetoing you. This is my house. And you
the
will not be
votes
coming
are
on the
anonymous,
podcast.
so make sure you vote honestly. And I know,
You didn't-
honestly
you didn't-
speaking, you're all gonna
you
vote
didn't-
for me.
You didn't need to tell them that, Will.
No, I did, so that they don't feel threatened.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
No.
Could get taken
Anyway.
off the platform for that.
Anyway, this ending is
This
gone
ending is
on
taking
long.
a while.
It's taking a while, but
Goodbye,
you know, I'm
good
sure you're all
riddance.
happy.
We love all of you very much. Goodbye.